profession. So that would help me with my goals, becoming the band director. And that's what I want to become. And this band has helped me a whole lot in learning exactly how bands should be run, how bands should sound, all those kind of things that will help me to further my career as a band director in the future.
I was somewhat prejudiced in those days. We didn't have any girls playing in the band. We had 12 majorettes or 13, something like that. All men. What a terrible mistake we were making. But in those days, the Michigan band, the Illinois band, the Big Ten group, none of them had women in them. And it never occurred to me why I was discriminating against women. I know the few who could play and played very well played in the concert band. And we would take them along on the marching band trips. But they didn't play, they were all men. I didn't want to have any majorettes or anything. I had a military attitude about it. I went to the president and I said, I'm going to have an all-male band. And he sat there courteous and listened to me. No girls. When I got through with my spiel and all, he said, well, thank you, Mr. Greer, but you'll keep the majorettes in the band. It was that simple. I want you to keep the majorettes in the band. He felt that show business depended a great deal on those girls who could twirl batons. But I fixed him, too. I kept majorettes, but I decided I want to have nothing but pretty girls in this band. I don't have anybody looking like me in the band, you know. So I'd pick out of 100 girls coming for tryouts, I'd pick out a certain group and send them over to the lady who trained them. I said, Miss Gentry, you take these girls. She said, Greer, some of them can't dance, blah, 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 blah. I said, it doesn't make a difference. Choose anyone, because all of them are pretty girls. And incidentally, when we played in Chicago, Newsweek and Jet and all those magazines were taking pictures of whom? Not of the band, majorettes. These girls were girly type thing. So they were credit, and the bandsmen resented it, incidentally. Chicago came, the championship game, national, world, what do you call it, Super Bowl, and those, it wasn't called Super Bowl, but that cold day, our kids were so cold and shivering and in such bad shape. I said to Ben Butler, one of my assistants, I said, Ben, I don't think they can go. He said, Puff, it's looking awfully bad. But at the halftime, I called them together and kneeled down, and I said, Ben, these kids can't face this cold air. And almost a miracle happened. I'll never forget it. Those 13 girls took in that freezing air and stood there and said, let's go. And that was the miracle. Every man stood up. We proceeded to play Bach. Every man, hadn't been for those girls standing in that cold air, taking off those capes, they couldn't have done it. There wasn't enough here. I couldn't have made them do it. But they saw those girls. It touches me even to the day. I saw it. A miracle happened. They saw those girls take off those capes and stood in that zero weather. Let's go, Mr. Greer. And 100 and some men hit that field, and that was some show to see, believe me. It was 6 below when we came out of the hotel. That's what's on the sign of the hotel. We stayed in the Maxwell House, I think. Yeah, 6 below. And you can imagine what it was like around noon when the wind was blowing off the lake. Horns froze up. We couldn't use the French horns. Bandsmen were just trailing, nose running. It was a horrible experience weather-wise. And guess what we opened that show with? You'll never believe this. And the Chicago Tribune the next day, the sports writers made a big deal of it. We opened that show with the Bach to Colin Fugue. Now imagine, here's 100 and some black kids playing Bach at a football game where there's ice and snow. First place, Bach doesn't really belong to the football. But when we got through with it, and it wasn't jazz, it was a part of the original score. We decided to let these people know we know something other than boogie woogie or what have you. The crowd just stood up and exploded.
how did you first start to perform at national halftimes of football games?
That's interesting. In 1955, we played in Chicago at Old Wrigley Field and played it for the Los Angeles. Now, I didn't have this idea. The alumni and the Bears were looking for, well, in the first place, no black groups, completely black groups, had ever played on national television. Because in those days, CBS and NBC both carried the games, and they carried the games across this country to the Far East and so forth. Our alumni people got busy with the George House, the owner of the Bears, and others, and there. And a lot of this I don't really know for sure. But we were invited to come out there, come and play for the Bears, and it went well, which opened the doors. And that was another thing that I tried to stress in rehearsals. You're opening the doors. We're doing something that has not been done before. It can't be poorly done. It has to be almost letter perfect. This was our first chance. What if it hadn't gone well? What if we'd been a bunch of clowns? Everybody, the alumni would have been ashamed of us. Everybody would. It was just the idea that you had to do it right. So it went well. After that, we got called from Baltimore and Cleveland. We played the Cleveland Stadium. The first time I ever played for 76,000 people. That was back in 1957, somewhere back in there, which is still an enormous crowd, you see. And black kids had never played for crowds like that. Our stadiums only hold 15 to 20,000.
As a student here under Mr. Greer, the band was the first band from a historically black institution, a minority institution, to participate in the presidential inaugural parade. And that was a big thing for us because of, you know, to have the opportunity to participate in the, of course, the highest ceremony that this country has. Was just very, very positive for me. And here, since we've been here, we've been able to do the same type of thing with where we went to President Clinton's inauguration. And of course, that was brought back great memories for me.
Just imagining myself being a part of the inaugural parade of President Clinton and the trips to Cincinnati, performing in the NFL halftime, and the Memphis in May Tattoo Festival, some things that I probably would never come across. So it has been a great experience for me. And I would like to share that everywhere I go, tell everybody about them. When you have cities like Chicago, even Atlanta, as far as the black community is concerned, the kids rarely see something positive besides athletics. In other words, some things that is on the television. And to see some of your own kind that are doing some of the things that you may thought wasn't like we used to say when I was growing up in the projects. I still stay in the projects. We used to thought it was feminine, like to be in a band, until my mother made me be a part of the band, play athletics as well. But once I learned the history of the band and how bands formed and was created, I mean, that was an inspiration to me. So for young kids to see their own kind doing something like that, maybe that encouraged them to, you know, get off the streets or, you know, something positive for them.
Our students have an opportunity to exhibit what they do for others that are necessarily sometimes less fortunate, and that they can see in that particular situation. That was one of the largest projects in Chicago. Well, it was the largest project in Chicago. And I understand from the people there, it was the first time that some of those kids, all of the kids, had seen a college band in uniform. And they were there, and we took pictures with some of them, and they were there during the rehearsal and whatnot, and we just opened it up for them. And it was very good for our students also to see that people on a level like that could appreciate what they were doing. And some of them have come from situations like that themselves. So it's important for them to see that they are being appreciated and how important what they do can be in terms of steering somebody else to want to go to college and be a part of something like a band.
We do a lot of different things for, you know, young children that they love what we do. And many of them, they ask for autographs and things like that. And they want to be in a band too. These students that are not participating in a program where they want to get in a band.
step off the bus in our suits. And a lot of kids run up to the bus and they see us at the game. They're very impressed with that. And you never know what they may do to a young kid growing up and that type of discipline. It goes along with our attitude as being an aristocrat. We always try to be a step above in everything that we do, make a good impression. Because as Prophet Kurt says all the time, you know, you only have one chance to make that first impression. So we try to be at our best at all times.
This is an opportunity, as far as I'm concerned, to work with some, and I've seen a lot of students come through here who have come through here and taken advantage of the situation and the opportunities that was available to them and go on and make something out of themselves, and from a very positive standpoint. With Mr. Greer, as I said before, he was a very good role model, along with the other directors, were very good role models for me, and I think that I have put myself in a position to pass off some of these things to some of the students that have been through here.
I guess maybe we can touch on the difference between maybe traveling now and traveling back then. Did you experience, when you went north, a considerable amount of prejudice?
Oh, Lord, you raised a question. Maybe this is too touchy for me really to get into it. You can delete it if you want to, but I'm going to give it to you straight. In the years when I was there, 51 through what, 50s, in the 60s, I guess, restrooms were for whites and for black. Here we were, a group of girls in the band. Where were they to go to the restroom? Where are you going to have 160 black folks going to the black restroom? What did we have to do? We had to stop the buses very often. The girls would go to the back and the boys would go to the front in the woods or something. To just no place to go. What happened to us was unbelievable. Where are we going to eat? No restaurants to go to that can handle that kind of crowd. So we had to work out our schedule so that we stopped off at other colleges along the way. Going to Florida, we'd stop in Atlanta at one of the colleges and eat. Going north, we'd stop at Virginia State or Knoxville College or something. We would stop. In those days, now you can go anywhere you want. You asked about the difference. Even the restrooms in the depot, bus station. The buses would pull in the Greyhound or something. You still had segregated water fountains and all. Unbelievable what they did. Not what our kids did, but the cultural situation. And this was always embarrassing because students were asking even in those early on, they would say, why do we have to put up with this? Why is it this way? My own daughter was asked that question. Why? And you don't have any plausible answer. You have to just tell them this is the way it is. It's wrong, but someday you had hope. Someday it will change. And when this change does happen, we'll take our place because we are prepared to take our place. These were legal things in some states, weren't they? They were things by law. Tennessee had that sort of thing. If you're old enough, you know what I'm talking about. So you said, what was it like in those days? Traveling was one of the worst and most dismal experiences we could have had. Today, things have changed. Thank God, they've changed.
So most places that you go now today, you're cordially welcomed, or do you experience some prejudice now and then? No?
No. One thing, we prepare for that because with 4 or 5 bus loads of college students, if they are not properly geared in a direction, that experience could be very negative. You know, that could be a mob if it's out of control. So we spend a lot of time preparing our students, and we are fortunate to have a staff of people that share these beliefs, and we spend a lot of time preparing our students to travel properly, that they understand that they are going into first-class facilities, and we work very hard to provide first-class facilities in terms of hotels and eating facilities, and that we provide good meals for them, and that they know how to act and they dress appropriately. And that has been very positive for us because we've gotten a lot of very positive comments from people as we travel about the way our students carry themselves, and that's what this is all about, and of course, we're very proud of that.
Our next stop will be Louisville, Kentucky to eat dinner. Of course, you don't have to get enough of that. We're going to be running a little bit late. We're going to step lively, but not running, okay? We'd like for you to think about tomorrow's schedule You can go on to sleep tonight. Won't be staying up all night because we'll be on U.S. Grade A Inspected Patty TV time tomorrow. They have us scheduled to wake up tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Food. Breakfast at 7. We're checking out of the hotel. Leaving for the stadium at 9 o'clock.
Hey, folks, I think you did a good job today at the game of starting off the weekend. This is the final thing we have to do. Let's go have a good time, and let's adhere to the itinerary. So, we got to do get back with the weekend. You got the best band. TSU! Go! Where's that traffic stop?
Just don't know I do get paid for this. Rhonda? Excuse me. Get down here. These sandwiches right here.
Trying to get the key and getting upstairs, that's the only problem. Let's take a key there.
Instead of Cincinnati, why you schedule us for Tampa Bay?
Yo, I wonder about that. Especially this time of year. At least it's not snowing.
We got to be conscious of time, folks, so we can't have no slow tempos.
Okay, we got to find a place to practice now.
How do you feel when you arrive, for example, at Cincinnati, and it's pouring down rain, and you still have to perform?
The show must go on. The rain can't stop the band. We talk about practice. It doesn't rain on the band. It rains around the band, which means rain, sleet, or shine, or 100-degree weather, we're going to practice. And it pays off.
I didn't hear one person in that band complain. Why?
It's just a motto that we have, you know. We have a performance to do. We know what is expected of us. We have prepared ourselves. Rain, sleet, snow, you know, nothing would keep us off the field from performing and doing what we got to do. So it's an attitude that was developed long before the season started doing our summer pre-drills.
The show must go on. That's, you know how the old motto goes. There's no business like show business, so everybody is a star, so they got to play their part.
So it's an attitude that was developed that it doesn't rain on the band, and we believe that.
The students work hard, and they really love this band, and they love the experience that they get. And to them, the attitude has developed that the show has to go on. You know, they prepare for it, and they go and they expect to perform. And they would have been very disappointed if they were not, had they not been allowed to perform, even though the weather was just difficult. But it did not stop anything, you know, and I think that just lets them know that this is another difficult situation, and this is something we have to work through.
We have a saying that it rains around the band, so no matter how hard it rains or how hard it storms, we just don't let it get in our way.
And you just go on and perform like you would?
Perform like it was a sunny day.
I wouldn't trade for anything in the world. Going to another school, this is where I want to be. I know I came to the right place. I like entertaining, and I like spreading the name of Tennessee State, you know, to different places besides Nashville.
The places we go and the people that we perform for help us to get an idea of what it's like actually out there and in the real world.
People that have been in the band for 4 years seem to tend to become successful.
Yeah, because they've got the stick-to-itiveness, as well as if they've been in the band for 4 years, that means they're gonna graduate. And 9 times out of 10, somebody's been talking to them about what they should be doing in the next 5 to 10 years. So if they stay around long enough, we have enough time to be able to touch them.
Most of the boys are doing well. The young women are doing well. And I'm glad to hear from Christmas time and get cards from them. And I look back with pride. It was a worthwhile life.
Tennessee State Band, that's my life. I was very fortunate to be able to be a part of the band as a student here at Tennessee State in the early 60s. And those experiences were so positive for me in terms of helping me to chart a direction for myself. It gave me all of the discipline that I needed to be successful in my college education in terms of meeting all my goals with the classes that I had to do. And of course, I was a music major here. And again, the experience was such a positive one. It just want to be a band director myself and to continue that experience and try to share some of these opportunities with some students in the same manner affected.
Outstanding group, and it's called the Aristocrat of Bands, and they are truly aristocrats in every sense of the word.
And I think it's something that I'll never die as far as the tradition of TSU band.